Well,
I'd
she
be
did
whipping
have
that
it
thing.
because she almost missed it.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, it was just his
Hang
height
on.
that
Look. You're making it sound like I didn't try. I did try. I didn't have the strength. His hand, his arm was still on it. And when he, hang on, let me finish. And she's saying when he locked up, his arms locked up. So it wasn't just a matter of moving the steering wheel. I had to fight his hands being on it in a position. She's saying I didn't think of that. There's a lot to it, sir. She's saying, sir. But it happened so quickly, and I was also looking at him to see what happened. Maybe I wasn't being as thorough as possible when handling an emergency. Because when I reached over and grabbed the steering wheel, I was kind of looking at him too, and I wasted a few seconds. Like what's going on with it? Instead of looking out the window first and saying, what do I need to do? She's saying I grabbed the wheel and I looked at him. Is there Parkinson's or dementia around them or you?
She added.
That's what she's saying. I think she's still talking, and she's talking about not quite being right in the head. Oh. She's actually saying that had a little bit of part in my reaction. She's trying to explain why my reaction might not have been what you would have expected. And she's saying part of it was because I wasn't very clear. You know, you're acting like a man who's totally thinking, you know, give me the emergency, I'll handle it. I'm thinking like a woman where I can barely brush my teeth. Trouble. I don't give a shit if I saw a tree coming, I'd be all over it. I could climb on it like a monkey.
Of course, you're a lot with them.
But I'm a skydiver, so I'm kind of used to, you know, emergency situations. That first time your chute doesn't work, it's like, that makes you buckle.
Are you going to tell your story?
Would you like me to?
Yes, please. I'd like her to hear what
I was at a 60-person formation down in Pennsylvania. I was at a skydiving convention. And when you have 60 people in the air and everyone's trying to get away from each other to get room enough to open their chute, it gets a little crazy. And people have to follow, we have rules. The little person has the right of way, so you never get over someone's back because their parachute's going to come out in your face. So you always stay to the side of another person in free fall that's lower than you. When my chute was just opening and another guy wasn't paying attention, he went right through the top of me, right through my chute. And he flipped me upside down and tangled up my chute. So only like, if you look at a parachute, let's say maybe almost half of it was inflated, the rest of it was all tied in knots. And I was tangled up inside it. My legs were all tangled up inside the lines, upside down. And because I was upside down and tangled in it, I couldn't get to my reserve. And I couldn't clear it. So eventually I was just watching the ground coming. And they estimated that I hit about 40 miles an hour head first. And I died for 3.5 minutes. And they had EMTs there because it was a big skydiving convention. And so after the when I hit the ground, all of a sudden I was standing. And I remember I didn't see any scenery, but I looked next to me. There was a guy about 70, bald on top, white hair on the sides, the most amazing smile. And he turned and looked at me, and his hand came out, and he looked down at me and he said, "Take it." And in his hand there was a little glowing ball about the size of a golf ball. And I said, I don't know what it is, it's a glowing ball, I don't know if I want it. And he said, "Take it, you can decide later." And I went, "Oh, okay." So I reached out and I grabbed it. They were bringing me back. And I had to lay in bed blind for a year. And then they took me and they did some fancy head surgery in New York City, and then it took 2 more years to get better. I had to learn to read again, I had to learn to write again, I had to learn to walk again, just like a little kid. Bottom line was, the first time it kicked in, I did a reading for somebody. I got went home and I was all excited. I sat down for a minute and I heard that guy's voice again. I didn't see him, but I heard him, and he said, "We saw you use it once. We need to know if you're going to keep it." Talking about that golden ball. He said, "Yeah, we need to know if you're going to keep it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll keep it." And he said, "That's what we were hoping to call." That was the last I heard. Now, the some people ask if I was still jumping just a few weekends ago. I don't know, to go to 14,000 feet. So. I guess I didn't learn my lesson. I'm sure my dad was rolling over in his grave. Some things about my readings to help you understand the way my head works. First of all, I don't see only the dead, I read the living too. So I can tell you all about you. So make sure you think you, everyone around you that's still here. So you have a double. You have to think of people who are gone and everyone that's alive. I don't see times to think as far back as you can. Names, think family first, and then open it up to everyone you know. I basically give you a message from the other side and just read facts from your brains. So I'm so happy she came through. Common thread, I will use the term a lot. It just means you might have both of you, if you were nurses and I'm talking about both of you, and one thing applies to each one of you. It just means I'm reading you both at the same time because I'm thinking of a common subject that's between you. If you're part of the common thread, speak up and say, oh, that's me too. My new channel, I can let them talk. You're welcome to ask me questions, and medical stuff is my thing. I'm really good with medical stuff. Do you know if she had money? I think I'm hearing there was a sizable amount of money left for the grandkids, or?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you know Andrea? Andrea? I can see the Andy. You? Andy. It's you. It's Andy. Who's Andy?
One from the past and my boyfriend's nephew.
Are they both
And
still
then-
here?
Yeah.
Is there anyone with Andy's that are gone?
No.
It's weird that I would do it all that trouble to find someone wise.
Oh. My grandpa. Right?
Yeah, this guy. Yeah.
Well, he went by Melvin, but his middle name was Andrew. But he went by Melvin.
He's saying, was he a suspenders guy?
I was 4.5 when he passed away.
Damn it, I want to know.
I know.
Call somebody.
I know. They had a horse farm, so probably.
Well, he's saying hi. Hey,
Hello.
actually saying hey.
Hey. Yeah.
He's saying, I like your boots, I have boots too.
Wow.
Was he from the South?
No.
Or do you have relatives in the South? What's Florida about?
My aunt Patty.
Okay. Do you know someone drowned? Found face down, turned on their side.
My grandfather died of a massive heart attack on a snowmobile trail in the snow. Then,
We were going July 4th, we had a friend of ours, they said he was drowned, but they brought him back and he was in the hospital until October.
Yeah, I didn't hear enough to know or hear whether he made it or not, but I could see him float. So he was definitely unconscious. So I feel like I'm turning on the side. Something that my might be picking him up when we were just talking. So that makes sense. What's his name? Andy? Okay. So I'm just picking that up. So he's alive? Oh, so he's talking. Oh. I gotta be honest with you, I thought I was getting a dead guy who drowned.
He actually,
Hold on.
she just wouldn't let him know.
They labored for days over it. Two doctors agreed wholeheartedly that there was no brain function other than basic body function. He's saying I was gone when I arrived at the hospital. I was walking along with the body.